Hi, I'm Dominic. Thanks for watching Dominic's Woodworks. I recently made some improvements to my table saw by adding a new dust extraction port and improving the blade cover that already came with it. Let me show you how I did it.
Let's begin with the new dust collector port for my table saw. I want to make it from plastic. I also want to use vacuum forming, although as you will see, one part of that did not quite work out as planned. I make a form by gluing up a couple of pieces of wood and trace out a slightly oversized circle based on the diameter of my dust extraction hose. I use my bandsaw to cut out the shape by approaching it tangentially, cut the circle and continuing on the tangent. This way I can glue up the pieces without distorting the shape. And you know how good I am with tangents. The first attempt, using this form on a downdraft table-like box with a shop vac sucking the air out of it, did not really work. I took the piece I cut out of the form and shaped it into a plug that would fit the form with room for the plastic to spare. I gently pushed the plug down to find that this works rather well. The bottom end of the form turns out rather flimsy, but the walls are actually sturdier than I would have expected. I cut off the bottom and... Did you get your hopes up? It is way too short to actually hold a hose. But I'm still using it. After some experimentation, I grew confident that I could rivet that plastic stuff well enough. As you probably saw, I'm using a soldering iron to punch the holes for the rivets, and I'm using small washers to prevent stripping. I rolled up a cylinder of the appropriate size, actually with a little cone shape to it to make putting the hose on easier. I then rivet that piece to the remains of the failed vacuum forming, but I also wanted a small side port to connect the blade cover to, should I wish to be so inclined. This time I thought about using the vacuum forming method on a smaller scale, but well... I then switched to using a form, and after some half-assed fails, I switched to using a short piece of hose as a plug. With that setup tested, I proceeded to make the connector right on the riveted piece, close to what will be the base of it. Again, the bottom of the hole turned out flimsy and is easily removed. Fun fact, the plug I used also works as, well, a plug in case I want to work without the blade cover. To actually attach it to the saw, I use a piece of plywood as a wooden panel replacement, since I have neither the patience nor the tools to cut the metal one, even though I initially traced on it. I cut the wood to size, transfer hole positions and cut the hole. To keep the plastic from breaking, I also pre-paired the holes with a soldering iron. When screwing it down, I try to soften the plastic flange with hot air to achieve a better seal. I then attach the shop-made adapter using additional pieces, through which I screw to strengthen the flange. Now we come to the new and improved blade cover. This piece came with my saw, and I have not used it a whole lot because it did not provide much in terms of anything, except maybe protecting my hands from the blade while at the same time preventing me from seeing it, thus getting overconfident and doing more harm than good. Maybe I'm overthinking this and I was just too lazy. Truth be told, this is more a proof of concept than something I plan on using all the time. I unscrewed the cover to see where I could safely put screws in. Yes, metal near the blade can be a bad thing, but I'm not going for through screws, but I'm using countersink screws held in place with a nut. What comes next is best described as a complex dance of mathematics entangled with physics, all the while making eye contact with practicability over at the bar until physics has enough of it and smacks math over the head with a pie. Actually, the idea is simple. I have two holes, i.e. centers of rotation. I also have a piece that runs parallel to the bottom of the cover. And I also have two rather arbitrary arms that will do the rotating. What I need is the 2 points on the second piece where I need to attach the arms to make sure the parallel thing stays true to itself. Using paper templates, it was actually quite easy to find those 2 points and make matching pieces from sheet plastic. I used the A-glue to hold the nuts in place, both to prevent them from falling off and risk hitting the blade, but also to keep them from over-tightening, thus leaving some play for all connections. Luckily, there was little fiddling necessary to make it work, and this is how it is supposed to function. On the one hand, it is meant to seal the sides to improve dust collection, but more realistically, it will make certain that my hands keep away from the blade no matter how overconfident. Or so I hope. I just needed justification for making this.
So I hope you found this little shop project interesting. Some things I want to add. The extraction port on the table saw works pretty well, although there's still something to be done about the holes in front where the crank goes up and down when you tilt the blade. There's a pretty big hole which I should plug to improve dust collection. The flow isn't too good either because underneath the port, you got the port here, then the panel, you got still some buildup of shavings there, but I can live with that. It's better than the whole saw filling up with shavings. And as far as this guy goes, I'm not using it that often, mainly because, for obvious reasons, it doesn't work on hidden cuts, i.e. when the material, or rather the blade doesn't go through the complete thickness of the material. That's just not what this is about. And I also added these two here to improve the, well, let's call it the raising action, because if you have it like this, and works best if those are slightly angled, and you come with a board, then that board should push those up. And with the red curve here, as you can see, if the board was this thick, it'd push them down instead. So I added these fins and they also look cool. I also tried spray painting a little orange here to keep with my red, orange, yellow gradient, but that didn't work too well either, and as you can see here I wiped off most of it on the plastic, although it would have stuck, but it would have also made it more likely for these things to get stuck. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'd also appreciate it if you shared it. One word on subscribing. YouTube has recently changed things, and where the subscribe button is, there's a little icon with a bell next to it where you can set your notifications. So if you want to get notified every time I upload a video, click there and make the appropriate settings. If you don't, then I'll be very sad, but I hope to still see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and as always, remember to be inspired.